Welcome to Souljourns and an interview with Sai Baba devotee Malkiya Jones of Chicago. This interview was recorded in 2006 at the Regional Retreat in Chicago, USA. Malkiya, it's such a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you.
We're here at the Chicago Sai Baba Retreat in September of 2006.
Yes.
This is your first retreat.
Yes, it is.
What prompted you to come here this time?
Well, I've been a member of the Sathya Sai organization now for exactly 3 years. This is my 3rd year anniversary.
3 years?
Yes.
Well, I'm curious to know really what drew you to Sai Baba in the first place.
Well, it was kind of funny to me, but I'll tell you how it started.
Okay.
Well, it was several years ago. I was at home one night and I didn't have much to do, and I was looking at TV. I was thumbing through with the remote control, and I came across a Discovery Channel program, and they were talking about Sai Baba.
On American television?
Yes.
In Chicago?
Yes.
I didn't know about that.
Discovery
Sai
Channel.
Baba, huh?
Yes.
Okay, and what did they say?
Well, they quoted the New York Times as saying that Baba was the greatest holy man who that the world has known in centuries, I think they put it. Yeah.
And how did that particular program impact you on that night?
Well, you know, it was very amazing. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I was still in a bit of a quandary about it. It didn't sink in too well all the way. I just said, well, I'm going to have to find out more about him in the future. Well, I didn't really act on it at the time. And it was a couple of years later, I guess, maybe a year or so later, I was in someone's home, and I saw a picture of Baba on the table, and I said, oh yeah, that's that man I saw on television.
So there's your second reminder.
Yes, yeah. So then I guess a year or so after that, I met a wonderful woman, and she invited me to the Southeast Center's meeting, Sai Baba's meeting. So I went. And it was very lovely. I saw this fantastic film about Baba, the Aura of Divinity.
Living Divinity.
Aura of Divinity, and I was very impressed with it, enjoyed it. But I've always been a spiritual person.
How were you raised?
How was I raised?
Were you raised Christian, Baptist, Muslim, Jew?
Both, Christian and Muslim. You
Really?
know? Yes,
Okay,
and
so
I've read the Bible in its entirety as well as the Quran also.
Okay, so I interrupted you. You've always been a spiritual person.
Yeah, so I saw it, and I expressed to the group how much I enjoyed it, and I told them that I really thought it was a wonderful thing that they had something that they felt was so powerful, impacting for them, you know. So, you know, I was leaving at that, you know. So this was the Friday of the Labor Day weekend. So our family had planned to go on a picnic, which was on the Monday. It rained that day. It rained a lot. And so the picnic was canceled. So I have a teenage son. I said, well, I'll take you to the movies. But if I can just backtrack.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
When I was at the meeting, the devotional coordinator, she had given me this lovely picture of Baba, one of these pictures with the calendar on the back. Nice picture. And I just became very affectionate toward that picture immediately. I took it home and put it on my pillow, you know, and then I would take it and put it next to my bed when I went to bed, got up, made up the bed, put it back on my pillow. I don't know why I did that, but that picture was special, you know. So my son said, Mom, after a couple of days, he said, Mom, who is this person here? I said, well, we're going to the show, and I'll tell you all about it on the way. So I told him my honest thoughts about Baba. It's very positive things. Of course, he generates love and positive things, and I expressed this to my son. So when we were coming back from the show, it had stopped raining, and it was still light out. And he came into the house. I was a little late coming out the garage, and then I was coming into the house. And as I was coming into the house, it was like 2 feet above the sidewalk. There was something spinning.
2 feet above the sidewalk?
Yeah, spinning. So I got a little closer and I looked, and it was a little brown leaf. Not so big, brown leaf. It was just spinning. It was not windy outside at all.
It wasn't one of those little dust whirlwinds or something you see sometimes?
No, because I thought perhaps, even though there's nothing up above it, but I thought perhaps there was a spider web had caught a leaf, you know? So I went over to it and I did like this. And honestly, I felt a little tug. And I said, huh? And Baba said, oh, you think you're smart, huh? I'll show you. So I did it again. There was no tug after that. And this thing was just spinning, just spinning. And I looked at it underneath. Nothing. I looked all around it. And I'm like, I'm talking to this leaf at this point. I'm saying, leaf, how are you doing this? And I'm doing this and doing this. So I went up and grabbed it in my hand. And then I made a wish on it. And I blew it away. And it went away about 3 feet. Then it came right back to the exact same spot, 2 feet above the sidewalk, just spinning and spinning. And I'm like, oh, I'm walking all around. How are you doing this, leaf? You know? So my son, he came outside. He said, Mom, what are you doing? I said, come here, look at this thing. I never seen anything like this. So he came out and he looked. And then he did like I did. He said, I did that. It's no spider web, you know, it's nothing. And he looked and everything. So then I picked it up again and I blew it real hard. And it went all the way to my neighbor's fence. It's about 6 feet, honestly. And it came all the way back to the exact same spot and just started spinning.
What must have been going through your mind at that time?
I was baffled. And then it came and it floated onto my son's leg and he jumped back. I said, it's not gonna hurt you, you know? And then I said, you can pick it up. He picked it up and blew it and it came back. And he was amazed and we were just looking at it. So I just picked it up and it was in my left hand. I picked it up again and I was talking to him. I didn't have my hand closed too tightly, but I could feel it at that time. I felt the pressure. It went out of my hand and floated behind me. And when I turned around, the leaf was gone and we couldn't find it anywhere. And then my son said, Mom, you know, there's something strange about that leaf because all of these leaves out here are soaking wet. It's been raining half the day. And that leaf was bone dry. And I said, you know, you're right. And never saw that leaf again. So all the day, all that evening, the next day, all I could say to myself is, what does this mean? What does this mean? And so it just came to me that it came to me, the words came into my head quite clearly. Don't walk away from this. Because I was about to walk away from the realization of Baba from when I met and the ladies. And I mean, I just didn't think hard on it, you know. And so I went back the next Friday and I was telling the story to them. And honestly, the room filled with the scent of jasmine and everyone smelt it. And you know, and I was asking them, I said, I know that he's a holy man, but who is he? And they told me that he is the incarnation of God. And I looked at each of them in the eye. Do you really believe that?
So you were a real novice about Sai Baba. You knew very little.
I know. I didn't know. And they all gave the same testimonies and other stories about Baba. And that little picture that I first got at that meeting,
The calendar picture?
yes, that calendar picture had a scent of jasmine. And it was so strong, so I asked Vera, I said, what did you do to that picture? I said, it smells as though you soaked it in this scent, jasmine scent, for a year. And she said, I didn't do anything to the picture. It used to belong to our mother who had passed away. And that scent, soft scent, is still in that picture today.
Malkiya, let's go back to the leaf for a second. Was there anything else you were ever able to make of what that experience was? Or do you think you have it pretty well
Well, you
figured
know
out?
what? I have a wonderful book now that I'm reading called The Grace of God. And what it is a collection of 300 quotes of Baba's from different discourses over the years. And in this book, it said, sometimes for those who know yet do not know, I send a calling card. And when I read that, I said, okay, Baba sent me a calling card. And I know so well now, Baba is wonderful. He's the most wonderful thing that has happened in my life. He fills your heart with love. I know I read something before, it says that he said that he's a thief. He steals hearts. And he certainly has stolen mine. So
You just said, I know so well now that
Yeah.
Baba is wonderful.
he is.
How do you know?
Well, in our study circle, we study every week. And it's been a great experience, and I've learned so much about life. I thought I knew a lot before, spiritually in tune. I've always been a truth seeker. And but the things that Baba expresses to us is so wonderful, because I know for a fact, I feel as though you can study many other disciplines, spiritual disciplines, but without the critical truths that Baba brings to us, I think it's almost impossible to go to the next spiritual levels. You can be a great, devoted, faithful, good person in your faith. Follow the steps and be a good person. But as far as the heights, the spiritual heights that exist for every human being, we can't get there without a certain critical understanding that Baba gives us. That's what's so wonderful about him.
So all of your previous spiritual studying, spiritual growing, pilgrimages, whatever the experience was, they sort of, if I understand what you're saying, they sort of were very validating and useful in preparing you for sort of the
Absolutely.
launching pad that
Absolutely.
you're on now.
Absolutely. And I'm definitely, praise be to Baba, on a real launching pad, elevating to his divine grace.
How has he changed your life?
I gave a slight speech yesterday on, of course, you know that this year's theme is love and living in love. And I was invited to be a member of a panel to discuss devotion as it relates to love and living in love. And as I expressed on there, I know now something I could never have dreamt 3 years ago,
What's that?
that God is within me, and He's within you and everyone else.
Now tell me, weren't you taught that as a young Christian, as a young Muslim?
No, God was someplace way away and we was hoping that he could hear our prayers. And he was a strong, loving, but one to be feared. I was taught that I should fear nothing but God. Okay.
You know, I think you're putting something out there that's extraordinarily important for others to hear. Others who may be Hindus or Muslims or Jews or Christians or Buddhists even. Say more about your awakening to that idea because of Baba and how it's enabled you to think it through to a deeper level.
As I said yesterday, when you know God is within you, you can't waste time gossiping. When you know God is within you, you have to love each other. When you know God is within you, it changes everything. Just like for me, one of the critical things was for Baba to actually come to earth and walk amongst the people and talk to the people. Me, I can't. The little lady who runs the paper stand on the corner can't. Anybody can go to Puttaparthi, India, and talk to God.
Or they can stay in their home.
They certainly can. That's just like, I haven't been so fortunate as to go, but I will be going soon. But
oh, good.
I haven't gone yet. But I tell my Sai sisters that I don't have to go because Baba is here. And I know he's with me. I know he's with me. Like the part of what I said is that Baba said that, you know, do everything in the spirit of love. And when you do that, God is with you, in you, and everywhere around you, and he will help you in every respect. Dedicate all things that you do in the spirit of love. And I've come to learn that that is so, so true. I am so empowered. And I love everybody. And I'm here and we all love each other. It is so wonderful. It is great.
What about the people in your life? Maybe it's your next door neighbor, maybe it's your brother or sister or aunt or uncle or co-worker who says, "What's gotten into you? What's overcome you? You're a revolutionary. You've been brainwashed."
You know what I did? Because, you know, this is the way I do things. When I found out about Baba, you know, I got a copy of this wonderful film, Aura of Divinity, and it tells you all about Baba from the time he was born and on. And I invited the whole family over, and we watched this, you know. And, you know, my family, they have a great deal of respect and love for me. So they don't talk about it. So
they're not on the same exact
so they don't
wavelength.
they don't talk about it, so I don't talk about it because I understand that they don't understand.
Now that's a very common refrain. You will find once you're a 30-year devotee that you'll still perhaps encounter people like that. So it's your experience. You have your Sai sisters. You have a handful of friends who can share this with you. Does it limit you? Does it hold you back at all? Or are you just oblivious to the fact that others haven't found out about what's turned your heart around?
No, it doesn't bother me at all. And, you know, I'm ready to share what I know with others all the time. And if they don't truly understand, I understand, you know, and it's fine. It's fine.
Let me ask you the $64 question.
What's that?
Are you ready for this?
I don't know.
Who is Sai Baba?
Who is Sai Baba? Sai Baba is love. Sai Baba is, can I just say here, because I wear this wonderful little necklace here all the time.
All right.
And a lot of people will see it, and they'll ask me if this is me, because I have a hairstyle that's much like Baba underneath this wrap. You know, I said, "Oh no, it's not me." And they'll ask me, "Well, who is that?" And, you know, you want to explain, but you don't want people to run from you at the same time. So usually I tell them my answer is that his name is Sai Baba, and he's the spiritual leader of millions of people around the world, and he lives in South India. And myself and these millions of people know that he is truly the incarnation of God, and he proves it every day.
Now, surely you must find one person in 20 or 30 or 50 who must ask you then a little more. Tell me a little more about this man. What do you say to them after you've expressed those sentiments?
Well, I'll be happy to just have that conversation.
Do you get
But it hasn't happened.
It hasn't happened.
No, it hasn't.
Nobody else has asked you further than that.
No.
Does it hurt you? Does it make you feel sorry?
Well, you know
for
what
them?
they do? They'll ask me, and say, well, where can I get some more information? I say, well, you could come to our center if you like. And I tell them, you know, you can get books at some of the exceptional bookstores around.
What, as I wrap this up and come up with the last couple of questions, I'm curious to know what you think of this experience as it relates to you. I'm sure some people hearing this story might think, well, isn't she special? Isn't she one in a billion? She's got all of this going for her and it hasn't happened to anybody else. How does it make you feel to come across Sai Baba at this part of your life when so many other people around you seem to be indifferent to Sai Baba?
Well, from my experience, from looking at tapes like these, I've seen a few, and hearing other people's experiences, Americans' experiences, I think it's kind of the norm. Just individuals have come to Baba, and he's touched their hearts. And all of them, all the ones I've met, people around them, family and friends, mostly very politely will say, well, I'm very happy for you, and leave it at that, you know. But
Sounds like you know your life has been changed forever.
yes, oh, absolutely, forever. Do you understand what I said? And I'm not crazy. That this is God. You know, the funny thing is that so many people love God. They think God can do anything but come to earth.
That's expressed so well.
But and I read, Baba said that his experience is the first time, because this is his second incarnation. He was here first with Shirdi Baba, which Shirdi is on my other one side. My girlfriend Vera, she brought this from India on Baba's 80th birthday, but Baba is here, and it's just wonderful. It's just a wonderful thing.
And the last question has to do with one of the first questions, and that is the significance of that rotating leaf suspended all by itself in air several feet above the ground at your house. That was perhaps Baba's first major calling card in your life.
Right.
Have you given it ever much thought since that time?
Well, you know, I reflect back on it because it was just such a special time. It just shows you how much Baba loves us, you know. And when I read that quote about he sends calling cards for those who know but do not know, Baba is just so loving, and he is just so loving to us. And I'm very thankful, very grateful. And like I said, it's changed my life forever.
I think your testimony is going to change lives forever for those who might see this. I'm always marveling at the way Baba works, and I brought this camera along not knowing I was going to use it during this retreat weekend, not knowing who might be the person presented to ask a few questions about Baba with. And out of nowhere, the idea came to sit down and talk with you. And what a marvelous story that, believe me when I tell you this, is going to be useful to many, many people on the spiritual path.
I appreciate that. I hope so, because it is the path that is the most important thing in our lives. Coming close, growing, as I said in my little speech yesterday, growing in our spirituality to full adulthood, you know? Not allowing ourselves to get stuck at the toddler stage, okay? And that's what Baba has for us. And when we love and we live in love, as Baba teaches us, His grace is showered upon us, and the lives of all that we touch experience it too. So it's a wonderful thing. It's just absolutely nothing that can compare.
You have a great gift, and thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you so much, Ted. It's a wonderful thing that you're doing. Thank you for this
Sai Ram.
opportunity. Sai Ram.
Respecting and abiding by